Hello everyone, my name is Alexandra Campbell and this is my persuasive speech for my oral communications class at Olivet Nazarene University, and it is titled, Are Criminal Background Checks Necessary? I hope you guys enjoy this speech. Some people may ask, are criminal background checks necessary? Well, criminal background checks have their pros and they have their cons. I personally don't think that criminal background checks are necessary for every job. Some people may be fully qualified for the job, but due to something that happened in their past, they may not be able to get the job and they might miss out on the opportunity. An article from the Arizona Republic of June 13, 2012 states that it isn't just violent offenders and other felons newly released from prison who are being rejected by employers. A misdemeanor is enough to cost a person a chance at landing a job also. Jobs are already hard to find, and even harder to find if you have a background. As I go through this speech, we will discover what a background check is, what are the pros and cons of a background check, how do background checks affect people, and why do I think background checks are not necessary. A background check is the process of looking up and compiling criminal records, commercial records, and financial records of an individual or organization. According to EverydayInterviewTips.com last access, April 13, 2011, background checks reveal identity, criminal history, lawsuits, security clearance, lies, and credit checks. Background checks are usually done before you begin the job. Most jobs do background checks before you begin a job, but some jobs often let you begin a job and weeks later they do the background check and it comes back and it's dirty, and then people are losing their jobs because of what's on their background. And I don't think that that's fair. I think that if you're going to do a background check, it needs to be done immediately before you hire that person, because nothing is worse than getting hired from a job and then finding out that you're getting fired because of something that happened in the past. And all honestly, as long as you come up front in the beginning and let them know what's going on with your background, it really shouldn't be a problem. And if it is, they'll let you know. But I just feel that it's not fair to start working a job and then have the job taken away from you because of what is on your background. Some of the pros and cons of background checks. Employers sometimes use background checks to discriminate against you. That's a con. If an employer can look at your background and immediately shun you away or immediately not want to give you the job because of that, that's discrimination. According to thebalance.com of October 25th, 2016, background checks cannot be used as an excuse to discriminate. So that's a good thing. Although some jobs still do use background checks as an excuse to discriminate against people. If anything in the report leads to the company deciding against hiring you, they are required to inform you and give you a copy of the report. That is a pro of a background check, because although it's kind of like a con and a pro at the same time, it's a pro because at least you'll know exactly their reasoning for not hiring you. You could work on trying to get that removed off your background maybe, or focus on jobs that will hire you with that on your background. So it's a good thing. And then if they are letting you go because of something that you feel is not necessary, then you could fight it because you have that paperwork stating what it is exactly that they got rid of you for. A June 18, 2016 article from thebalance.com states, pre-employment screening is a necessary hiring process to avoid lawsuits and costly hiring mistakes. So that is a pro. That is a pro for the employer, because you don't want to hire somebody and then later on down the line find out that they have all type of legal things going on against them, and then their legal issues come back to the employer, and now the employer is getting sued because they hired somebody and they didn't know exactly what was going on with that person. So that is a problem. Employers that hire people who represent physical and financial danger to the company can risk being sued. That kind of ties back into what I just recently said about the employers making sure that they do know what type of person they are hiring so that they don't get sued and things like that. How do background checks affect people? According to the Arizona Republic of June 13, 2012, It states that felons who serve prison time face the biggest challenge, but in the current economy, it can equally be hard for people with misdemeanors to get jobs. Nowadays, people with misdemeanors is kind of basically like having a felony, because if you have a misdemeanor, it's hard for you to come across a job as well. I know people who have misdemeanors and they have a very, very hard time finding jobs. To me, if a misdemeanor is just as bad as a felony, what's the difference between the two when it comes to getting a job? I just think that if the law looks at it different, then jobs should look at it differently as well and be able to hire those people with those misdemeanors. And also some felons, because times are hard. People need jobs in order to survive, and without money, it's hard to survive. If your background stops you from getting a job, you will not be financially stable, which kind of goes back to what I was saying about surviving. If you don't have a stable financial history, it's going to be hard to live your life, because everything in life costs. According to the Arizona Republic of June 13, 2012, it states that when someone maintains employment, this demonstrates stability, provides a source of positive social interaction, and provides means for financial stability. When people have background checks done on them and they can't get the job because of something that happened in their background years ago, they might be a changed person, but because of what happened in their background, people still look at them as that criminal, as that person that did that bad thing. And it's kind of hard when you try to change your life around and people still look at you that same way. If you have a job and you're going to work every day and you're getting that financial support, it's easier for you not to go back into the lifestyle that you originally had. But if you're not getting that financial support, it's kind of easier for you to go back into the lifestyle that you once were living and do illegal things, because maybe that might be their only ways of getting money, or that's what they think. I just feel that if everybody was given the opportunity to get jobs, the crime rate would go down. Not having financial stability can cause a person to be stressed because they don't know how they're going to make it, which just goes back to what I just said. If people have financial stability, I think a lot of the crime rates will go down, because more people will be focused on going to work instead of going out and doing bad things. Why do I believe background checks are not always necessary? Although lots of employers do criminal background checks, they do not focus on other important information that has to do with the person, like employment references and educational information as much. A lot of people could go on their resumes and lie and say that they worked at certain places, maybe places that closed down that the employer can't go back and check, or a place that they can go back and check, but most employers are not calling these places and making sure that this employer has that actual skill that they say that they got from that job. They're also doing the same thing with educational things. Somebody could put down that they went somewhere, but the employer is not doing the right amount of checking to make sure that this person actually does have that credential. Earmedia.com last access February 25th, 2011 states employers often don't but should verify any education information. Earmedia.com also states that employers frequently fail to contact prior employers because they assume employers will not provide relevant information. In conclusion, background checks have their pros and cons, but I don't believe that they should always count against you. I believe that employers should give people second chances to prove that they are right for the job despite their past. Although I understand why background checks are required, I don't believe that they should fully disqualify you from getting the job. Everyone deserves a second chance, and someone's past should not define the person that they are. So with that being said, I just feel that everyone deserves a chance at a good paying job. I feel that we all make mistakes, and I feel that our background should not come into place of who we are as a person and who we are today. I think the job should actually sit down and get to know the people more, and then they will know the type of person that they'll deal with. I understand that background checks are necessary for certain things, like teachers. You have to do background checks for them to be around kids, daycare providers, doctors, things like that. I understand it, and I don't feel like background checks should just go, immediately disappear. I just think that people should be given second chances despite their background. I appreciate you guys for listening to my speech today, and I hope you guys have a good day.